Chapter 22. When MacLeod left Brenda Wyatt's apartment, he went directly to a bar and ordered a scotch. That ought to go down well on top of the brandy, he thought. He wondered what Brenda would have done had she known that all the time he was in her home, the sword was in his coat. Ramirez, old friend, your weapon is causing me more bother than a Spanish peacock looking for converts. He left the bar and went to the subway. At that time of night, there were only a few passengers, especially since the decapitations. He got on the first one, a carriage which belonged to Sanchez Domingo, if you were to believe the graffiti that decorated its interior. Actually, he quite liked the artwork, which consisted mainly of balloon letters with fantastic backgrounds, though he knew it gave the Transport Commissioner headaches. MacLeod had seen that name, Domingo, on other carriages in the town, and guessed that the artist had graduated to what was known as All City, making sure that every moving train carried the name. At the next stop, someone got on at the far end of the carriage. A black guy in traditional dress, some African country. 2 more stops and a gang of youths got on. There were 7 of them. The leader appeared to be a Puerto Rican, and he viewed the graffiti with apparent distaste. "See this guy, Domingo? When I catch his ass, I'm gonna rip it out and spill his guts, man." MacLeod was amused. "It offends you, the graffiti." 7 faces turned towards him. The gang leader sauntered over and put a dirty track shoe on the seat beside MacLeod. The black guy at the other end of the carriage was paying no attention to all of this. MacLeod did not blame him. "Yeah," said the youth, "it offends me. Everywhere I go, I gotta see this guy's name stuck in front of my nose? Shit. Who the hell is he to write his goddamn name where the Caligulas can see it?" "You, I take it, are the Caligulas," said MacLeod, nodding towards the rest of them. One of the slimmer youths took out a switchblade, flicked it open, and began scratching out the graffiti. "That's a pretty scary name." "Damn it, this is Caligula turf." He pointed to his foot. "Where that shoe sits, man, is Caligula turf. You got it?" "I think so." The youth jumped back in mock surprise. "Then why you still sitting there, man? Don't you understand what I'm talking? This here," he tapped the seat on which MacLeod was sitting, "belongs to the Caligulas. This whole fucking train belongs to the Caligulas. Savvy?" "You mean you want me to vacate the seat, even when there's plenty of free seats on the other side of this carriage?" The leader turned to his gang, who had now got a variety of weapons on show, from motorbike chains to knuckle dusters. A small zip gun came into view. "You catch on real fast, man. Don't he, guys? I mean real fast." MacLeod stayed where he was, ignoring them. They seemed unsure what to do next. Usually, people did a lot of things when they were threatened, but they did not ignore them. The leader walked over again. "So vacate, man." "Fuck off," replied MacLeod. Although he had not used the word violently, the youth sprang back as if he had been slapped in the face. He was amused to see a small debate go on then, as the train rattled along the tracks. "He's got to have a piece, man," he heard one of them say. "He wouldn't have the balls without he was carrying a piece." At that point, the black guy from the other end of the carriage had wandered down, and now took a seat opposite MacLeod. He smiled. "How are you, MacLeod?" "Castigir. I don't need to ask what you're doing in New York. Have you seen the big man yet?" Have you? Yeah, the other night. Just a minute. We seem to have a bit of a problem here. The leader of the Caligulars was now back by his side. He was looking from one man to the other. Well, ain't that nice? He said. Two buddies, gonna go down together. Castigear said, Is this open to negotiation? You what? You fucking nego what? The boy took out a butcher's knife from within his jacket. I'm gonna cut your balls off. MacLeod and Castigear both leapt from their seats and put their backs to the end of the carriage. Convinced that they had not got a gun on them now, the youths began to advance, making menacing gestures and shouting taunts. The leader was grinning, his stubble beard split by his red mouth. MacLeod said, Ready? When you are, said Castigear. They both produced their swords at once, in a flashing of blades. The gleaming weapons stopped the gang in their tracks. Holy shit, said the boy with the zip gun. The gang leader stared at the long blades in front of him before making a tactical decision. Hey, he said, smiling nervously. I know what you guys are. Yeah, you figure as these vigilantes. You been to see Bronson in Death Wish, right? Well, look, man, we don't want no trouble with you guys. I'm just gonna put this here. He returned his butcher's knife to his jacket. And I'm gonna sit over here. He took a vacant seat. And mind my own business, man. You wanna go and chop the fuck out of me? That's up to you, man. I ain't gonna stop you. His gang were busy stowing their weapons, and Castigear and MacLeod did likewise, before the train stopped at the next station. A group of theatre-goers boarded at that point and looked suspiciously at the gang of youths. But the boys just sat, staring at the floor and ceiling, looking as though butter wouldn't melt in their mouths. At the next stop, the gang got off. Castigear rose from his seat. Mine next. Be seeing you, MacLeod. MacLeod suddenly realized that he did not want to meet this man on the field of battle. Look, Castigear, why don't we have a talk? The black man studied his face. Won't do any good. There can be only one. Meet me in Central Park, 2:30 tomorrow. Castigear sighed. Okay, there isn't much point in fighting each other until we've met the big man. I don't think either of us is a match for him. The train doors hissed open, and Castigear stepped through them, calling, 2:30 then, on the bridge. MacLeod waved to confirm.